Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I'm going to make a bold statement. This is my humble opinion. It is my humble opinion that Dungeon Masters are the last remaining cartographers on Earth. All right, let me try to convince you of my opinion and get you to hold my opinion as well. All right, here we go. Why are Dungeon Masters the last actual real cartographers on the planet? I'm going to explain it. All right, so the reason is Google. Google is pretty incredible. Google is a very, very important. They are the end-all, be-all in map making. Actually, they are the end-all, be-all in geographic updating today. It is my contention that no one is making maps commercially today. Literally no one outside of Dungeons and Dragons. All right. So let's talk about this. All right, so basically, Google Maps. All right, okay. It's the only thing I use now. It's the only thing I use to get around anymore, and I think the vast majority of people do the same. There are some copy apps. There are some apps that take information from Google Maps, and then draw that same information in other directions. They take that same information and draw maps based on what's on Google Maps. But Google Maps did this thing that nobody else had done ever. They put 360-degree capture cameras on cars, and then they just drive these cars all over America, and they automatically update maps. They automatically update geographic areas that are then shown to you on a phone. Right? It's almost it's got to cover like 90% of all geographic knowledge. This is how geographic knowledge is gathered and distributed. And what I'm saying is that Google Maps 100% is not a map, right? It is geographic information automatically gathered in an automated fashion, updating a geographic file, which is not a map. Okay, you getting an image on your phone of an area is not a map, in my humble opinion. Okay, it's simply geographic data being distributed to you upon request. That is not mapping. Okay, that is geographic coding through automation, and that is not the same as drawing a map. Okay, and the reason why I say that is I recently went to some really great garage sales, and I bought maps, and I've been going over these maps. One, to give myself a better ability to be a cartographer for my Dungeons & Dragons games. And also, if you don't know, maps are an outrageously good source for non-player character names. They're absolutely fantastic. They're really, really invaluable. Right? And maps are just wonderful and fun, but they're all old, and you can't really buy new maps now because nobody bothers to create maps, right? And also, there might be a few people printing out what's coming from Google Maps, which in my opinion is not a map, right? Which means that what's happened is, oh, and by the way, if you even try to compete with Google, your attempts will be literally laughed at. If you think I'm wrong, go take a look at Apple. About 5, 6, 7 years ago, they tried to make Apple Maps. It was literally a joke. Like, the SNL made fun of them, Apple users made fun of them, merchants made fun of them, because their attempt was laughable. You cannot compete with Google in geographic location, automated capture, and automated distribution, right? And one of the reasons why I'm saying these aren't maps, taking a geographic file and updating it with automated capture information through automated distribution, the quote-unquote map making, which is not maps, is being done through code. There's no one drawing a map and distributing a map except Dungeon Masters. Dungeon Masters, quite literally, are the last cartographers on Earth, in my humble opinion. We are the last map makers. And this is another reason why I continue to point you to understand the full shape of Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons is a is a human culture preserver, right? While the rest of the world has abandoned map making and there are no real cartographers left, right? There are real cartographers in Dungeon Masters. We make real maps of places that exist here and here. And they are real. The maps are real. The locations only exist here and only exist here, but that doesn't mean they're not real, right? So Dungeon Masters still hold and preserve for human society cartography, while the rest of humanity is quickly abandoning it, and in my opinion has fully abandoned it. So Dungeon Masters are guardians of cartography. We're the only real map makers that exist now, right? And of course, I'll double tap on this. Because of that, Dungeons & Dragons is special. It is a cultural guardian. And the idea that it is a game, in my humble opinion, is a ludicrous concept held by people of only the most stunted intellect and emotion. My opinion. Love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.